This is my opinion. It's not a fact. Okay, so what do we do now? Everybody has to get vaccinated. Outreach, 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 deploy community groups, deploy people who have credibility in the community, religious leaders, educate people who still think that this is made up and it's a problem and nobody really tested this, and incentivize the vaccinations. President Biden, $100 per vaccine, free pass to the movies, whatever incentives you can come up with. Private businesses, I am asking them and suggesting to them, go to vaccine-only admission. Go to vaccine-only admission. We did this. Radio City Music Hall, months ago, reopened vaccine-only. Sold out all the shows. Sports arenas, they went up to about 90% vaccine only. Private businesses, bars, restaurants, go to a vaccine only admission. I believe it's in your best business interest. You know, if I go to a bar and I want to have a drink and I want to talk to the person next to me, I want to know that that person is vaccinated. If I go to a restaurant and I'm sitting at a table and the table right next to me, I want to know that they're vaccinated. I believe it's in your business interest to run a vaccine-only establishment. We're the first state in the nation to have something called the Excelsior Pass. Rob Mujica made it a reality. We have passes. They're on apps. They're on phones. It's very simple. You can operate a restaurant and just say, you have to show that you were vaccinated when you walk in the door. It's going to help your business, not hurt it. Call Madison Square Garden. Call Radio City Music Hall. Call the Nets. Call the Islanders. Call the Mets. Call the businesses that have done it. Call the theaters that have done it. If you say to people, well, if you don't have a vaccine, you can't get into these establishments, then you'll see a real incentive to get vaccinated. And again, with our Excelsior Pass, you can do it easily. Local governments follow the CDC mask guidance. It is up to the local governments. CDC doesn't mandate local governments do it. They recommend. The state has strongly recommended that local governments do it. But it's up to the local governments. The only way you overcome the local governments is with a state law, which is what we did last time, if you remember. And that cleared up all the confusion, and it basically said it doesn't matter what the local governments decide, the state has control. We're not there. So it's up to the local governments. But local governments, you should adopt that CDC mask guidance. Learn the lesson from last year. Don't deny reality. Better safe than sorry. Well, people will be upset if we do it. People are going to be upset no matter what you do. So show leadership and do it and save lives. Whatever policy they set, they then have to enforce. Let's not make the mistake we made last year, where they set policies, but that they didn't enforce. So we had in New York City, 300 people in front of a bar with no masks and no enforcement. Because when people see you're not enforcing the rules, then they think it's all a mockery. Then you're being arbitrary and capricious and you don't enforce it anyway, so they're not going to do it. Everybody is talking about a mask policy. Mask policy will be important. But I don't believe a mask policy is going to be enough. I think we're going to have to talk about a vaccination policy. What does that mean? Well, we've taken the first step. Federal government's done it, state government has done it, some local governments have done it, which is you either have to get a vaccine or a weekly test. That's the first step. but it's only the first step. And that, I believe, we need to expand.